going on, everybody? Seth, Miranda. This is Adorama Rewind. There's a ton of stuff to talk about, so let's just jump right through it. Sony warns of file loss bug on the a7R III and the a7 III, which is the latest in their full-frame mirrorless line. So pretty much people are losing their images if they use the auto review function on the a7R III. If you look over here though, you can see a quick step to see if you can recover some of your images. Go to select menu, go to setup, recover your image database, desired memory card slot, whether you shot to card 1 or 2, hit enter, take a picture, then back up your data from that card, and hopefully it should recover any images. But that's only images if you shot them and saw them and all of a sudden you're not being able to preview them. If you shot and it's not coming up and there is a corruption or an interruption in the data recording, odds are there's no recovery for those images. Sony is aware of this. They are making a firmware update within the next few days. They said mid-December, so I'm assuming any day now we should see a correction of this issue. If you're someone with a Sony and you've had trouble with seeing your images or all of a sudden they just aren't coming up, it's not really a card issue, it's something in the camera, so it's not a defect. Hang tight. They are aware of this and they'll get you fixed up soon enough. Samsung, however, in some shady news, caught using DSLR photo to fake its phone's portrait mode. So here's basically what happened. This is IEM, which is a stock photo service. It's a platform that photographers are going to upload their images to and sell the licensing rights to. They bought this image right here, IEM, off of them, and they made it look like this is the photo that was shot with their phone, and then showing their portrait mode on the Galaxy A8, they made it look like that they can choose whether they want the background blurred or not. Clearly not the same background, clearly altered, clearly shady. So we know that the Galaxy has had some great track record in the news over the years, but this is another level. And we've seen other companies do this as well, where they want to show off the portrait mode in their phones, and they use actual images from actual DSLRs and cameras that have portrait capabilities. So it's kind of I don't know, take that how you will. Just be wary out there, okay? Also, Instagram threatens mountain ecosystem. So we talked about this, right? This is an amazing mountainscape here, not here, but in New Zealand. And people are trying to get this photo over and over again to a point where there's this much of a line to go stand on the edge of this mountain and take this arms wide open shot. They're saying that since this is such a desolate location and since it's never seen this much traffic before, the flocking of thousands of people, just like the sunflower fields and other places that we reported on, are seeing an impact from it. I don't really understand this phenomenon. I don't get the whole point of I need the same photos as everybody else on my Instagram or whatever. I guess it's a civilian thing, but we got to really take a look at what the cost of these likes are on our Instagram, okay? So in some other news, it's kind of comical, but kind of not. There's a surfing contest that used a helicopter to knock a drone out of the sky, and pretty much what's going on here is the WSL, the World Surf League, has a strict IP policy that if you're not hired by them or have permission from them to record an event, they don't want to let you do it. So here's Water Patrol actually chucking things in the air, trying to knock this drone out, which is just hovering there. The drone operator just let it sit there. So they sent in one of their helicopters and just used the propeller force to whoosh right into the water, which is kind of crazy. I don't know what to say about that, but I will say that any drone operator that's serious about it would say if it's flying over people or near a helicopter, odds are it's not safe to begin with as a pro measure. So I don't know what that drone operator was thinking, but I think in the end, safety is number one. And number two, if they're trying to knock your drone out of the air, just get it out of the air. Stop hovering. What are you getting out of it? Some drone footage of people chucking stuff at it? Don't know the full details on that one. In funner news, or more fun news, I don't know. I'm from Brooklyn, we don't have grammar, okay? Color of the year was announced, yep. So if you're someone that's down with trends, Pantone announced that Pantone 16-1546 Living Coral is the color of 2019. So get ready if you're gonna be trendy on Instagram. Remember that this year was ultraviolet, so people were doing a lot of this kind of stuff. If you want to just have fun with it, if you want to stay up on the trends, Living Coral will be our color of the year. I just thought that was kind of cool. I come from a screen printing background in my youth, and had to stay up on those Pantone colors, so I thought that was pretty cool. And some heartbreak news. Tenten All, which is a huge manufacturer of photochemicals for processing, is in financial turmoil for C41 processing and other things like that. If you don't know this company, they're basically the guys who make the chemical for Kodak to put out there on the market. So if you're someone into analog, be aware that Analog processes are in a little bit of turmoil. It seems like there's a surge, and I'm sure it's really a force out there, but apparently not enough to keep them in business. When film went down, we did see some independent companies pop up and start making film and things like that. Impossible Project tried to revamp all the Polaroid processes, and they did a pretty good job of it. So I'm wondering what's going to happen here. I don't know if they're going to go out, but read that article. If there is some kind of fundraiser and you're interested, check it out. If you're someone that's looking to be independent and make your own chemistry out there, maybe now's your time. I don't know. In other news, this is kind of interesting. Tumblr is banning all adult content and nudity, including the work of professional photographers. So basically what's happening is, let me see if I can find the actual thing here. So pretty much as new rules, real life genitals, nipples, and anything depicting a sex act will be banned. So pretty much, and this will include any artwork by professional photographers. So pretty much this is going to Instagram rules, right? So they're cleaning it out. Tumblr has had an issue with adult content, and there's a market for that, obviously, but is it a platform for Tumblr to be so accessible? This is the debate. I don't know. I think what you have to be wary of is if you have an account, I think you have till December 17th to clear out your stuff before it's completely gone, or censor it and put it back up, or just figure out how to work your profile. But be aware that if you are a nudes photographer, you're on Tumblr, December 17th, your stuff might be gone. In uplifting news, though, if you're someone looking for a job, a rich family is looking to hire a travel photographer for $100K a year. So pretty much it's an actual job. You'll be traveling with them, 3-month stints out of a span of time. They will give you 30 days of holiday time a year. You have to work about 10 hours a day and 3 months at a time, like I just said. So it's an actual job. If you're interested, go check it out. Think of it this way. It's just like being a celebrity photographer. There's people that have followed Justin Bieber around or Kim K around or things like that, and that's their actual job. If you're someone that just likes to travel and think you have the style they're looking for, maybe this could be your job. Maybe you can get beyond just having a really nice Instagram account, go make some money and shoot some images for someone, or just take a year and go travel around with a rich family. Why not? I don't know. I thought it was pretty interesting, especially in an era where people keep complaining that their jobs are getting scarce and the money's getting scarce, that maybe this is photography 6.0 or wherever we're at. I don't even know what version we're at. In other news, Instagram, like a drug that doesn't get us high anymore, says the original employee who deleted her account. So what's going on here? Bailey Richardson, who was one of the first 13 employees at Instagram, who obviously had Instagram from the beginning since 2011 when it was launched, has just deleted her account, saying it's no longer a place I look forward to or get excited for. It seems more like a time suck. What do you guys think? I don't know what to think about this. It's kind of a real big statement if you're someone who created Instagram and you're like, I'm done with it, or has it just run their course for people who are the original of Instagram and maybe now we're at a different style or version or evolution of Instagram where it's not for them anymore? Things have happened like that. I mean, look at Star Wars. George Lucas created it. He did some prequel movies. They were terrible. And now we have people taking it over and putting it in a place where we all want it, right? Sort of. I don't know. Let's start a Star Wars debate down in the comments, but you guys can let me know where you stand as far as Instagram goes. I know that over the course of this show alone, a lot of people have voiced I'm kind of done with Instagram. Sorry, I'm looking down. I'm trying to queue up the next story here, so to speak. Okay, you guys write down the comments all the time, and I like to answer as much as I can, but I want to pull this one up. I'm pulling up 2 this week. Let's look at it. MavFan1 said, just to avoid confusion, the Sony update you mentioned was released on October 9th. Not sure why a few news sites picked it up on it recently. Pretty much what happened is people on review sites got the firmware update, locked in some adapters and lens combinations and wanted to see how it worked. So that's why it got picked up in the news. I apologize for putting up there like it was kind of new, but there were plenty of people that apparently didn't even know that there was a firmware update for their Sony. So I apologize for that. Thank you for catching me on that, Mav fan. I will be a little more diligent on that, but that's the reason the news picked it up and recycled that pretty much because of the review sites. And also Andrew Chisholm, I'm probably saying that wrong. Oh, I didn't know about the Instagram thing. Speaking about the Instagram for the visually impaired. As a blinky, partially sighted person, thank you so much for highlighting this. Oh, and I'm a photographer, even though I'm losing my sight. This is what I'm talking about. more people are coming into the conversation. You weren't even aware that Instagram had a version for the visually impaired because you probably weren't even tuned into Instagram at all, thinking that it wasn't for you. Well, I'm glad this little show is getting some information out there to people that could use it. Let me know how that Instagram's working out for you, because I don't know. I'm not visually sighted, and I don't know if it would help me out. But let me know if it's optimal for you. Let me know if it's describing the images for you. Tell me if it's accurate. I'm wondering about that too. Let's talk about some of the stuff in the comments. Do you have a Sony? Are you freaked out about some things that are happening with it? Hold tight. What do you think about Samsung using that DSLR photo to show what their phones are capable of? It's a little shady in my opinion. Do you think Instagram is getting to a point where we're actually hurting the earth with this? I know we've asked this question a million times. It's getting a little kind of crazy. What do you think about the WSL trying to knock that drone out of the sky? Should the drone operator have just gotten out of there? Is it really their fault? Does the WSL have the rights to destroy someone's property like that? It's kind of like Kanye West when he's grabbing some photojournalists or paparazzi cameras and chucking it, right? You excited about the color of the year? I don't know. Are you someone that uses analog? Were you worried about chemical companies or any paper, or maybe even paper, or any other analog processing companies having issues out there? Are you someone on Tumblr? Is your Tumblr account going to be in jeopardy? Do you even care if your Tumblr account's in jeopardy? I've talked about this before. Don't build your house in other people's yards. Well, if you built it in Tumblr and they're changing their rules, are you going to be that 18-year-old that's getting kicked out of the house? I don't know. Are you interested in that rich family job? Would you want to travel the world for someone else's means and just document it? I don't know. It's kind of a cool thing if you ask me. Let's talk about some of these things down in the comments. I will see you guys next week. Peace.